You're pretty clear. That's good enough, man. Huh? So good morning. It's a Monday morning, so gonna have some fun. How was your weekend so far? All right. I have no sound from you. What happened there? You are
What
a
happened there
mess.
is I hit the mic
There you
and
go.
I forgot to
Look, I even
unhit the button.
I put some nice pictures down for you to reminisce a little bit. So look at that. Yeah,
Is
man.
that?
I
Oh,
want
okay. I thought you were talking about actual screenshots.
actual
From,
screenshots. Well,
oh,
you can see you can see what I got up, right? Oh, you mean actual group screenshots? Hi.
yeah.
Nah, no group screenshots this time. I wish see. I'm two PCs behind now, right? Because that was my old PC that it's gone. So I don't have any of the WoW stuff. Because I mean, when did we start playing WoW? 2004, right? That was
Sounds right.
because we used to have our anniversary year every year in 2004. Man, just think about that. Some of the time, some of the people that we met, good and bad. And some of them I don't even know them by their real names. Like, what was Prix's real name? Was it Nick?
Nick. Yep.
All right. Finn Lauren and what's her name and his wife. You remember their real names? I don't remember their names.
Yeah. I don't know. There's
Say
Brack and Rissus, and
say Dune's real name. I have no idea.
no, I don't either. I don't
remember.
recall.
I don't remember any of those or any of the goofier people we had. Ryak, Aram, all those. And then there was that raver dude who was always an annoyance.
I don't recall that one.
He wasn't in our guild. But he was a major pest. Then we had the guy who was his brother joined the guild, but then he got killed. You remember that? He got killed.
Yeah, I don't
breaking
know
up a
if that
fight or
was like
something. Yeah. And so his
that was a weird thing. It was like we didn't know whether or not he actually existed.
right, we thought it would have been a made up story, but he said that he put our Lord Darren Ranger symbol on his tombstone, which I don't even know what the symbol was. I couldn't find it. I looked, so I looked for it and
I thought it was a shield.
shield with a cross sword.
Yeah, I think so.
I think so. Yeah, because that's what a cross sword's what I use in BattleTech as well. So that's pretty funny. So well, hey man, I wanted to talk about some. I know your group is going really well. Just tell, and we're like completely different on the ends of the spectrum on D&D. You're like new school, and I'm super old school. So tell me a little bit about your group, man. How's it going on Wednesdays?
Yeah.
What are you
so
doing?
we started. I actually started playing back in fourth edition with the what was it called? It wasn't Adventure Leagues then. It was whatever the organized player they had. That was around for like 3 weeks or so, and then it went or 3 months, and then it went to the playtest packet stuff, and that's when I started taking over and DMing. So like, I've been going since the playtest packet. I did all the stuff through there, and then we went into fifth edition.
What's that?
Yeah.
I mean, were they sending that out to the stores?
Oh, you could get fifth edition. It was like what Paizo's doing right now with Pathfinder 2, where you can play with it, give them feedback, and then they adjust and they set out a couple different renditions beforehand.
So this is Wizards of the Coast. I'm saying, serious doing this. Is this after they dumped like the Living Greyhawk stuff? Was this like their next idea? Do you know?
So this was in development for fifth edition. So between fourth and fifth, there was what's called D&D Next.
Okay.
It was all their playtest materials that they had. So you would go ahead and you would they'd send out what was going to be their fifth edition.
Mm-hmm.
You'd play it, give them feedback. They would adjust it. 2-3 months down the road, they'd send out another fifth edition. You'd play it, adjust, and so on.
So Next wasn't fourth. I thought it was, but it's not. It was in between.
No.
Oh,
yeah, fourth
okay.
Next was the beta of fifth.
Oh. I didn't know that. You just educated me. I thought Next was fourth. So shows you how out of touch I am.
Yeah, so if you take a look at what Paizo's doing right now with Pathfinder 2 or whatever they're calling it, it's pretty much very I don't want to say the same thing, but very similar to what they're doing now.
So Pathfinder's doing the same thing. They're converting from with Pathfinder's 3.5 basically, right? So
Right.
they're converting to something else now too.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't taken a look at it because I don't
You
have
don't need to.
the desire to look at
No,
another
I
system at the
mean,
moment.
yeah, it's like I don't have a desire to look at the new stuff, which I know everyone says is a shame, but I mean, you just
There's
can't.
some good stuff in there. I mean, I never played second edition. I've done plenty of the computer games, Baldur's Gate, Icewind Dale, those ones there.
Yeah,
So I'm familiar with the concepts and the
Baldur's
rules and
Gate.
that kind of stuff. Yes, I know. I still got to get. I haven't played the what is it? The Siege of Dragonspear Enhanced Edition, the new
Right.
one that they came out with between Baldur's Gate 1 and 2. I still haven't purchased that.
Did you ever
So,
finish
I-
two? Both parts? Oh, you did. Throwing a ball, Shadows and them, and the fight with Demogorgon in it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Who'd you
Yeah,
did you have a romance? I mean, you could romance like 3 different characters in it. You could romance.
This time around, I think I went with Nira, the new character from the Enhanced Edition,
Ah, cool.
from Wild Age Action.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I love that. You know, we incorporated here, right back. It's right on my shelf up here. We incorporated so much into our game from this alone. And see, this is why I got my magic board up here. This Baldur's Gate 2 Shadows of Am. I mean, we incorporated the Inquisitor, which is the subclass of the Paladin.
Mm-hmm.
We incorporated the Avenger, subclass of Druid. We what else? The Swashbuckler, which I was already working on, which no one really plays that much. It's like a fighting thief. I guess they're not, the guys aren't that thrilled with it, but I use it for NPCs. We incorporated that in there. And a lot of magic items that are in this. Not the flail, the ages, because that would be insane for me to give someone, 5-headed flail. That would be a, the rod of flailing. You have a rod of flailing in your campaign where it has multiple heads and they get multiple attacks with it. That's nasty enough.
No,
Okay.
but most like fighters and whatnot, they you get quite a bit of attacks now. I think they're at 3 attacks, or they're about to be at 3 attacks. No, they're at 2 attacks right now. They're going to be at 3 attacks soon.
Okay.
So, a lot of people get you get far more multiple attack situations than you do with your second edition goodness. But we also get faster gameplay.
What's Mr. Gameplay?
Faster.
Faster. Oh, you think so?
Yeah.
You really think so? I don't know about that. You think so? I don't know, but that's a good discussion, man. Just like, so you started with next, not even 4th. You started with next, went into 5th.
I did a very short stint in 4th. I think, like I said, about 3 months altogether.
Hi.
Oh, Brianna, Daddy's. I don't even know what you're trying to do, sweetheart.
All right, we got to say a shout out. Hey, Jeremy, thanks for watching.
Oh, is he watching?
Yeah. So
Am I
thank
choppy
you.
on your video or not? Because it's kind of choppy on my side.
My video's choppy.
No, I'm choppy on your
Oh,
video.
I got you. Well, here's the thing with XSplit. I got you in. You're embedded. Your Skype is embedded in my broadcaster, which is then being broadcasted. So I think it's like a double or triple. So maybe you're clear on the Skype, but you're a little choppy inside the XSplit. But that's the only way that I can figure it out so that you can see the whole screen and what's going on, what we're talking about in XSplit. So actually, XSplit, it's great. It's a great program, man. It's a great. Hi. I got Shane downstairs, but Shane, if you noticed on Thursday night, he jumped in to our game for about 10 minutes and was taking his character and putting them all over the field of play, which was kind of funny.
I didn't. Only made it like 40 minutes in on
Yeah,
the game. So.
I gotta admit, 4.5 hours is kind of tedious of watching old guys roll dice, But that's okay.
I keep it on while I run test scripts and that kind of stuff there. So.
Yeah. Well, we're short of play. We're short of player this week. Bill's daughter's has her birthday, but I got a fun thing installed and ready for them to go. So okay, so your group is how many players?
So we have 7 now. I took the game, so it's organized play, public play, whatever, because we don't actually do Adventure League anymore. We started with 3 players, and I at one point had 4 or 5 active tables of 6 players each, and now we have 3 tables of 7 players each.
Yeah. Who's DMing the other 2?
We have a guy, Caleb, who he came to us. I don't remember where he came from. He didn't play at my table ever. And then Jason, one of the guys that was a player at my table at one point, he started DMing the other table.
And one of your players now DMs your Sunday night group.
Yes. Yep. Aaron actually just started we are doing an all dwarf campaign, and he's doing like some really cool Obsidian Portal stuff. I don't know if you ever checked that out at all.
No.
It's like a campaign manager type deal. He's been, he introduced that to us last night, and I've already been posting like some. He's got like some non-campaign related tasks that you can do. So like you can go on a beer run, deliver some beer to this place, because we're beer delivery men essentially is what we are.
How is it a world base? Is it Forgotten Realms? What is it, or is it its own world?
Forgotten Realms,
and what are you running?
Moonsea area is where we're at. So that's with the one that we're running right now in on the Wednesday night games is in Chult, so Forgotten Realms as well. I don't think they have a non-Forgotten Realms setting official campaign book. I mean, the Curse of Strahd, yeah, you can say Barivia or whatever it is, but that's kind of a demi-plane, right? If I recall. So,
which one? What? So it's there's I know that on the web pages I'm on, the Facebook pages, this is called, there's one Sages of Earth, OERTH, which is the setting for Greyhawk, and Cannon Fire. They're pissed off that there's no new Greyhawk content. And I say
no, it'd be nice to break out and get a new setting, but that's part of the reason why we are switching from 5th edition over to Star Wars Edge of the Empire after this campaign.
Really? And is that yours, or is that the Sunday night group, or both?
Wednesday night group.
What, your group?
Yes, my group. I'll still be playing as a DM. I got kind of sick of the super high fantasy save the world type deal that you have with Forgotten Realms, and so I gave my players an option. I said, hey, we can go to. We did a short stint with the Adventures in Middle Earth 5th edition conversion. They really like the rule set, and it's a lot of fun, but they didn't like being good guys. So I told them, we could take that and we can make it more Shades of Grey type deal, because there are a lot of kind of more evilly pricks. Or we could do. What's up?
I'm listening, and then Jeremy's texting on the live feed too. So I'm responding to him that, hey, I appreciate the compliment and stuff. So yeah, but that's it's multitasking here. So yeah, keep on rolling. I think it's sad though that you're bored with. Think about this. All right, so how long you been DMing? A year and a half, 2 years?
No, this is. All right, so we had.
All right, wait. Let's start from the beginning. You and I met in 2004. You and I met in 2004, and I was playing still then. We had a huge up to 400 person guild, by the way. And this is Brian, a good friend of mine. He lives in somewhere in Michigan. He won't say where, because he doesn't want you all coming and stalking him. No, just kidding. But
I was supposed to say, I don't care. You can look on the
and then we played till like 2009.
Weekly games, the weekly recaps. It says I live in Ann Arbor.
Oh, does it? Okay, you're from Ann Arbor.
Yeah.
We'll get to that, because I think it's fantastic what you're doing. What you're doing with that. So we went to 2009 mostly, and then it burned out. We had some issues, and then like me getting my wife, wanting to get a divorce, and it was affecting my DMing. It was, and so when did you pick up playing D&D after that point? 2000, whatever, and then what happened?
So I was doing some work as a credentialed trainer at the university. That was 2012. So
I was still talking to you on a regular basis then too. Yeah, because we were doing some odds and ends stuff. Star Wars.
We had a contractor that was, she likes D&D, and we were kind of talking about it. So I went and checked out organized play stuff.
Right.
So that was in 2012. Yeah, that was the first time. In the summer 2012, I played a little bit there. Her husband came up one weekend and ran a game, and then I checked out some organized play stuff there. I did like 3 months of that. There was a big blow up with the group that the guy that was organizing the organized play didn't want to play anymore.
Right.
And then I took over. There was a short hiatus where we didn't play, and then I took over with D&D next, which was I think 2013. So from 2013 to today is when I've been DMing.
All right, so almost 6 years.
Not that all right. So like I said, it's not that I'm bored with DMing; it's that I'm bored with the setting.
Because you don't listen to me. Dude, all right, so you know me, and back in 2004, we had been playing stuff for 20-some years, right? Man, you gotta have. I understand. Forgotten Realms, you got 30th level characters, all the Harpers, and Elminster rules the world, and Drizzt never dies, and Artemis Entreri. It's ridiculous. But Greyhawk's
but
a
that's
little more
what
toned
that's
down.
what the players like, and everybody's got to be happy, which is why I wanted to switch up. Like personally, the 5th edition Adventures in Middle Earth conversion, it's a fantastic conversion, low magic, high fantasy world that I would love to go back to. But the players, I'm surprised. I actually thought that's what they were going to pick.
So the old MERP stuff, Middle Earth role playing, all that. I mean, they've redone some of that. I mean, those books. One book is like $50 now for those old MERP
right.
books.
So Cubicle 7 did the conversion. So they did a 3rd edition. I think it's the One Ring or something like that role-playing game.
Right.
They now have the Adventures in Middle Earth 5th edition one, and it's really well done. The main thing is my players didn't like playing good guys, so that's why I said we can take that and just take it out of Middle Earth and just use that rule set. But
are you talking about playing an evil campaign, or are they playing like neutrals? Are fine, but they're an evil.
Neutral,
okay.
not evil.
Evil campaigns
they
don't
like
work.
Shades of Grey is what
Shades
they
of
like.
Grey are fine, man, but evil doesn't work.
Which is why we settled on Edge of the Empire. So that is Star Wars custom fantasy flight game setting. It's dealing with smugglers, bounty hunters, mercenaries, all the people that are all the people that are out there that aren't Jedi. And I didn't want to deal with Jedi and Force powers and that kind of shit because I wanted to get away from for me as a DM, I like playing, even as a player, I prefer more of a low magic-y, not so powerful people.
Well, look at your first character in SWTOR was that smuggler, right? That was your first character, and I had a blast with it. I'm so bored with that game. I wish, I loved it back, and I just can't even get back into it right now. Well, that's why I've kind of reprioritized my life with this stuff instead to keep myself busy. See, when I'm busy, I stay out of trouble. So, I got to stay out of trouble. I think it's sad, though. I mean, it's great you're going to be playing something else. You're going to be playing still on the Sunday nights. I think it's sad, man, because I know what it takes to get people together, and then to keep them together, keep them interested is difficult. So, I don't know. But, all right.
Well,
so, how long is your campaign going to run till? Is it going to run for 6 months you're talking about, or 3 months, or? So
the one that we're running right now, I'm expecting to be wrapped up mid-July. We started it in
a couple weeks.
November-ish.
2 months.
Right. So
Spunky the monkey.
Altogether, we would have, I think, we're doing our 30th game. I actually got to do my 30th game recap today.
Okay.
I think this is our 30th game of the campaign.
Most
campaigns run about 40 games.
Right. For you.
So that's why I'm figuring. Yeah.
Okay, so basically you have a plan. Right, you have a plan in mind. And you're talking about that group bringing up from first to whatever level. You have a plan where you want to go, and then you get to a certain point, it's retirement time. Is that how yours works?
No, it's kind of they ride off into the sunset. I do like Fast Times of Ridgemont High, where they at the last session.
Okay, the denouement, right?
Yeah, I asked them like, hey, I asked if they want to have any feedback in what their character is doing post campaign, or they want to leave it all on me. And sometimes people are like, hey, it'd be cool to incorporate this. One of the guys, Jason's son, who. When he was playing with us, when I was DMing for him, because he now is at his dad's table, he was like 12 or 13 at the time, and his character really wanted to become a like candy confectioner mogul. So
Right.
he invented a essentially a Snickers bar, and became a candy king of the underworld.
All right, so at least they ended up doing something. All right, so I get it. I get it. You haven't, like, for a little difference. I know it's eggs and oranges. It doesn't matter. It's different stuff, but we try and keep our old characters involved, man. They have children, or they go crazy, or they purchase an inn, and they're in the campaign still. And sometimes they adventure. So
but here's the thing: you guys are not in a save the world situation.
I guess
where
so.
like everything in Forgotten Realm is save the world, save the world, save the world.
Yeah.
So if that was the case, and these characters were still around, why would we pull on level 1 Joe Schmo instead of dealing with the already established level 14?
I guess you're thinking so grand to begin with. That was J.R.R. Tolkien's issue too, because he had the first book was Father Giles of Ham, who saved the farm, and then he went to the Silmarillion, and they had to save the world from Morgoth, right? And it just got bigger and bigger. It just kept on exploding up, and then it took forever to write those things. But it gets to a point. Like, I guess Greyhawk is great because you have just the world is ongoing, whether it's a catastrophic event occurs, like the From the Ashes box set, which is really kicked off end of 2nd edition, and then but then the Crook of Ral happened, and a lot of demons got banished. So I don't know. Hey, if you're gonna go to Star Wars, that's great, but you'll have fun with that. But I'm a D&D guy at heart playing, and I don't know. I would say look into Greyhawk down the road, and it's basic, man. Like, here, I'm gonna show you something you should run. Here you go. Run this. Run a Keep on the Borderlands. Run that, man. It's great. It's the second adventure ever came out after In Search of the Unknown. And it's first level. The characters will be 3rd level by the time they're done. It's a whole mini campaign setting.
I want to say I feel like that one is in the 5th edition. They did a couple redos.
They re-released it.
Yeah.
They re-released it in 5th edition. They just did. But this is all right. So I grew up on this. This is I can't say this is my first box set. I got one, but this was the original box set from like the 78, 79, right? And inside was the Keep on the Borderlands, the rule book. Woohoo! And you didn't have dice.
Didn't have dice.
See that? Look! Does anyone out there know what these are? These are called chits. These are chits, man. You know what they did with these? You had to cut these up, put them in like jars, and pull them out. And that's how you rolled dice back in the day. That was it before dice actually freaking came out. You had your chits. Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
There goes something I learned. So.
I educated you on something. The wonders of the chit. Yeah, and people, you had to cut them up, man, because no one made dice. And when they made 20-sided dice back in the day, they didn't have 11s through 20. They had 0 through 9 on 2 sides. So you had to take
you colored them different.
You had to color in the. I can't find those dice. I wish I had that 20. It was like yellow. I had to color. You colored it in with a grease pencil.
We have a guy who plays with one of those.
Wow. Those, I mean, they're old school dice. There's that they chipped. But they were. It was a fun time back then. But like, man, I just wish you would. Like I said,
I'm not swearing off D&D. I need a break from save the world type stuff. Mm-hmm. So we're going to Star Wars, and then we'll probably come. My plan is I have an arc laid out. So the Star Wars campaign guides are a lot shorter.
Right.
So my thought is I have, in my mind, I have about a half a year to a year of play in Star Wars, depending on how much custom stuff I play in there and that kind of stuff there.
Do you have miniatures for it?
it doesn't really rely on miniatures. It's a lot of theater of the mind stuff, which is what we use a lot of times anyway.
Right.
So
another new nuance of I guess because of the cost of stuff. And when I go online here, everyone's got their headset on, and there's 6 people in a circle, and some of these people dress up for. It's weird, but I guess we're just so old school with the miniatures and the terrain and.
I have a lot of miniatures. A lot of them need painting.
Plastics, because you get them for those box sets, right? From the board games.
Right.
Yeah, that's cool.
The board games, the Wrath of the Shardalon was a fantastic board game to pick up for, like, your run-of-the-mill orcs and that kind of stuff there.
Right.
Because you get, like, 3 or 4 of them per model, so, you got a good stock there. My thing is, though, I'm not a combat type of guy. I'm more of a, let's get into role play. Like, I know as a DM, combat's my weakness. Especially having a party of 7, you have to throw in so many monsters for it to be...
Dude, you see the games. You see my games. I got like 30, 40 bad guys out there at once. It's hard to keep track of it,
Right.
But I enjoy that.
I don't like it when a session is all just combat. So in order to do a balanced combat, I either got to put in a big bad, which you're going to absolutely demolish with action economy. With having 7 level 9 players, action economy is going to outweigh.
This is the rule of 3. We have what's called the rule of 3. Okay, eliminates that. You're on only 3 because of reality, and we're talking about melee combat mostly. If you have missile weapons, or wizards in the back, or only 3 people are allowed to attack any creature at any one time. There's some exceptions to that, and that eliminates a lot of that mass ganking, So that's what we try and do.
Actually, in this case, that wouldn't matter because I think we have 2 melee people.
Okay.
Everybody else is spell slingers.
It sounds like you got. See, I know. Back when I was growing up and younger, it used to be called the Monty Hall days. If you go back to some of the old Dragons, they talk about the Monty Hall issues you had with power gamers, and we had some back in the day, and it was difficult. I had to create like antithesis NPCs just to deal with these people. I had the Funk and Hottie Peaks of the world, and the Andrea Winchesters of the world were created specifically to knock down the other people's PCs that were annoying. And power gaming.
I don't want it to become a party versus DM.
I got it.
Thing.
It's tough.
So that, like I said, I know as a DM, for me, if I have a smaller group, I do really well with combat. But in this case, having 7 players, it's just not worth it for me to focus on combat. I'm more of a let's explore, let's do some role play.
Right. I got it. I understand that. I mean, there's a lot. I mean, the game is a role playing game, right? You can't just do all combat with it. It is a role playing game, but I mean, I guess we just like having fun playing all the time with changing things up. I got a surprise for the group this Thursday with EC this. I got a huge surprise as far as combat goes with the group Thursday. I probably gave it away to some people, but it'll be interesting. So, all right. So you're gonna play still on Sunday nights, though. That's good. That's good.
Right. And, like I said, I'm planning. Eventually, I'm guessing we'll be back to D&D.
Changing it up's good. We changed it up once in 30 years. We did, and we didn't know what the hell we were doing. The DL series came out. All right, and so we're like, "Ooh, this is cool! What the frick is a gully dwarf?" Right? And so we started running those, and we're like, "This is painful." It was all scripted, There's DLs. I don't know if you ever saw the Dragonlance modules; they were all scripted. And it's like, oh, so that lasted till DL4, and we couldn't take it anymore. That was it.
Yeah, no, don't mess with any of that. So, I don't know, just dealing. So I will say. The one session I did of the beginner box, there was a couple weeks back. We had 4 players couldn't make it, so our cutoff is as long as we have 4 players, we play. If we have 3 or fewer, we're doing something else. Side story, cancel. People want to cancel. This case, we ran the beginner box, beginner game for Star Wars, And because it is so role play heavy, it was legitly like the most fun I've had DMing in like a year.
Good.
I think part of the issue with D&D, looking at where we are now, like the Chult, the Tomb of Annihilation campaign, it's not really my flavor, and the players aren't liking being trapped in this mega dungeon. You can tell sometimes they're not having fun because they're in a room just to not die. Like each room is set out there to kill them.
Yeah, because Tomb of Horrors redone, man.
Right.
Tomb of Horrors was a death trap. There was one. I mean, it was a mouth open. You stick your hand in, and it was a sphere of annihilation. You were dead. That's what it was, and they turned it into a campaign setting.
Right.
So
it sounds fun on paper, but now that I'm there, I'm like, let's just sweep it away and be done. And then the one prior to it, the Rage of Demons, is all toting demons, and then you escape the Underdark, and then they're like, oh, great, now you get to go back in. It's like, why the hell would you even go back in?
Why go back down there to that pain?
Right.
Yeah. I understand. Why not? Okay. How about, I know it's tedious and it takes a long time. What about, what's your percent of module adventures you write yourself compared to what do you think? 50-50?
We're vastly on campaign.
Okay.
But when I say that, I understand the campaign guide is just a guide. I can alter it. I can adjust it as needed. I've been doing that. The Storm King's Thunder one that we did, that was probably half custom stuff. It's probably more than half custom stuff because they didn't care about the giant stuff. We actually didn't even wind up finishing it because there was such bad links and no reason to give a shit about the campaign stuff. The giants, they didn't care about that, so we wound up leaving that. And they latched on to an NPC that was a little girl, Broomy, who was I originally put in there as a polymorphed goblin slave to this sorceress, and they kept on. They really latched onto her, and they thought that she was something more than a goblin, and slowly, surely, she wound up being like a lost. I transferred her to being a lost princess of the Shadowheart Kai people in the Shadowfell.
So, because it worked, right? So you adapted, you overcame, you adapted there. Yeah. That's awesome.
Right, because they didn't like. What are you trying to do, Nana? Why am I doing this? Oh, here, Nana. She's trying to hit you.
So, I got it. I mean, I use those. I use published modules for fillers, or sometimes we've done some campaigns like where we'll do our individual group sessions, but then we'll throw in a campaign. The last one we did was the Expedition to the Ruins of Greyhawk, which I think was a 3.5 or in that era done, and it was fantastic. And that allowed us to bring up a new first level group with the high levels, sub-commissioning them out, and doing all sorts of other split off adventures. It helped me with my Greyhawk kids group. I don't know, and then you had to write I wrote my own stuff for all the sub adventures. I'm just I didn't. It seems like it's there's a lot of, I guess, canon following the campaigns that are out there now. I guess because they bring the figures out. I didn't even know that. I didn't know that that's the way it is with a lot of groups. I guess because writing adventures is difficult, man. To balance it and to make it interesting and to have it so that the role play is fun. I get it.
Right,
I get it.
A couple times a year, I do games for my nephews and my nieces. Mm-hmm. They're 13, 12, I think. 13, 11.
Okay.
Somewhere right around that age. And that I don't ever do. I just do that, very free form, whatever they want to do.
G-rated adventuring.
Yeah, they think they're doing some things that are a little bit more adult.
Right.
But yeah, that's all like unscripted. Just I threw them in there. I gave them a job board with like I came up with like 6 different random jobs, and I said, "Here, pick one," and they didn't even want to do any of those, and so they went off on their own, and it's worked out for them. So
that's awesome. That's good. Ours is going well. I mean, they're up to 4th level, and they have an adventuring group. They actually, the Gnarlymen, which is a mercenary company in Greyhawk, they joined, but most of them got killed off the rest of the group, so they basically became the Gnarlymen, which is the worst rated mercenary group in all of Greyhawk. It's even in the From the Ashes box set, the group. And so now they've become the Gnarlymen, and they're trying to work their way back up the ranks of the mercenary adventuring groups. It's been going well. It's fun. So we're gonna do it when Mark's coming back from Ohio in 2 weeks. We're doing that mega adventure. It's posted on the events. His character David Gradiv is running, but we're going to do a kids event on the Saturday. I don't know if I'm going to broadcast that one or not, just because it's got kids involved. But we'll see.
Right.
We'll see. Hey, so a big kudos to you. The idea for my preludes that I do for my adventures came from you. Why don't you talk about your channel? You got your own channel on YouTube, Bugbears and Brews. I think it's awesome, man. Just talk about it a little bit.
So I don't know if I can call it a channel anymore. It started out as I have a couple buddies that do YouTubing pretty seriously.
Right.
One of my buddies, Lee Patterson, sorry, I was getting it mixed up there. He was on Tabletop Gaming with Juice. That was his game. I DM'd for him at like Adventure Leagues, and then he came back and he's like, "Oh man, you should maybe check it, get into this." And then I hooked up with Cody from Taking 20 there, and he's doing fantastic now. I think he's up to like 50,000 people, and they're like, "Oh man, you should do this." And I had fun doing the topics. But then I just didn't have time, and I was like, everybody's already did stuff. Nobody wants to hear my opinion on it.
I checked some out. I liked them.
Well, they're fine. I enjoy doing them, but I don't want to take my time. I'd rather spend my time playing a game, painting a mini, doing something else. So that's.
You do your synopsis every week. You do
right,
that,
right.
which is fantastic.
So I do this
while drinking
every week, and I enjoy that because A, it helps me remember. B, it's quicker than doing something that's written down. I used to send wrote up synopsises, right. But then people wouldn't read them, and so nobody would have any idea what's going on here. I've had a better retention of the players understanding what they're doing or where they're at with the recorded versions, because they can just put it on while they're working or doing something else and just listen to me covering it there. And then, because of having the Bugbears and Brews there, I still try to drink a beer of some form while doing the synopsis, have some sort of alcoholic beverage involved.
I think it's awesome.
It's like I tried with that. Like my whole thought was I was really big into brewing. My dad and I were brewing every week, and so I was going to talk about our brewing stuff. And then we fell off of brewing because my mom had her knee surgery and couldn't watch my daughter while we brewed, because it was normally like my wife's relaxed night, no husband, no daughter, that kind of stuff there. So it fell off the brewing, and I tried to do a couple beer reviews, and it's like I'm not the beer reviewy kind of guy. I like to talk a little bit how much I like a beer, but I've never been like one of the I get a hint of leather and no.
Come on, man. Hey,
so I'm there to have fun now. Like
that's
I enjoy doing my recaps. I enjoy talking about the beer I'm drinking with it. And I'm happy with that.
I'm giving you 100% credit. That your idea for the recaps gave me the prelude idea. So I said thanks, man. So
which is awesome. I enjoy listening to your preludes. And for your group, now I was sitting there thinking one day, I wonder why he does the preludes versus like a recap. But for your group, because you are so constantly changing who you're playing, that kind of stuff, kind of having a prelude so people can kind of prime the pump and get in the mind of that character, because you do change from week to week what character they're playing. So it's kind of a little bit of, I didn't make it through all of last week's game, but didn't you guys switch mid-game?
Yes. We finished up the deal with Knuckle Paler, and then once they were successful and they raided the Dirty Dan, I didn't even know it was on
SpongeBob.
I didn't even know that, and I didn't even know about the stupid compass either. I'm like 0 for 2 last week. But once they took over the the base, and they got the item they needed. Yeah, then we converted over, and then there's another adventure group, Reckless Indifference, which is in Harby. They're the ones that actually captured Shannon Maynham and destroyed the terrors of Woolly Bay, because Shannon's mother, this is, I don't know, like it was like 50 adventures ago, so it was about a year and a half, 2 years ago. Her mother thought she was kidnapped, but she was actually the leader, of course. But then they got more money for bringing her back alive. So they brought her back alive, and then all the political intrigue, of Harby. And so now she's hiring the group that captured her to do a little mission for her. And we're going to see how this happens. This is going to be interesting Thursday. But Bill, one player, Bill's not going to be there. So we got to figure out if someone's going to play his two characters, or we're just going to sit them out. But we'll see. It'll be fun. And then the big thing, a big event that happens the week after. That's a big one. Mark will be here from Ohio. So, and Mark, all right. So I'll put this.
What we got?
I'll put this up here. You see this? Look at this. It's falling apart, right? So Mark's coming back from Ohio. Look at this thing, right? It's my only copy. So my buddy Mark found a pristine, almost uncracked Deities and Demigods for me, first or second print with 144 pages. That is going on my shelf and staying up there forever. But this thing is like, falling apart. But this is the one we're going to keep using. I'm not going to use that one. But thanks, Mark, for finding that. It cost an arm and a leg, but it was worth it. It was really worth it. All right. So I'm glad to hear about your site, man. But you got to keep that going with Star Wars too. I'm assuming you're going to do it on there too.
Yeah. I actually, the Star Wars one I had a little bit more fun with. I did a little animated intro. It's Banthas and Brews instead of bugbears.
Yeah.
And it's got a little Bantha who runs and knocks over the last beer.
Okay, I'll check that out. Was that you did one adventure then? You were just messing around?
Yeah, we only did the one. We only did the one.
Okay.
So going into the next adventure, we're going to do a custom adventure where they are going to they essentially, when we wrapped up, 2 out of the 3 players want to keep the characters that they have. The third one wants to switch up. So they're going to drop off that third character on a planet, and they essentially boosted a ship. They stole a ship from a bounty hunter. The bounty hunter is still alive, and so their first objective is to get that ship scrubbed.
Right.
Try
he's going to be chasing now. He's got an evil antithesis to chase him around, or
right,
to be a pain and thorn in their side too. That's good. His name's not Boba Fett, right? No,
was that?
I'm kidding. I said his name's not Boba Fett, is it?
No, he's a Trandoshan named Trex.
So you got the background now from the Old Republic that you could put all these races in and stuff.
That's the other thing. Like with Star Wars, I am far more. I don't know if you see the Star Wars shirt. Like I am a far more Star Wars nerd. I know far more of the Star Wars universe than I do of D&D world. So
you didn't ask me something today. It's in the morning.
I know, Taylor pork roll. Where's it at?
Did I have? Yes. I have my pork roll. I live outside Philadelphia.
Morning, no. So,
Do you see that underneath the Star Wars? See, what's that? That's a Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles football there.
See, now I would have asked it, but it's not Sunday morning. It's a Monday morning.
Yeah, I know, but yeah, it's Memorial Day. We had a good time with we went out last night. I saw my friend Alan, who's the one hiding on camera all the time, and my friend who doesn't play and busts my balls about it all the time, Steve, last night. So I know anyone who's watching who is a Steve fan is probably going boo on here. So I did have a couple questions for you about 4th, next, and 5th that I just don't understand. All right.
Yeah.
So
I will try to answer what I can.
Okay.
Like I said, it was like 3 months stint in the 4th.
All right. I'm going to open this up. This is our Bible here, people. See, look at that. This is the Classes and Races book. This is one of my Bible books that I put together. All right. So these are all the classes that we have and race crossovers. Okay. All right, and you can see these are all the allowable classes all the way down and the races that correspond. But there's subclasses of this. So my main question's right here. How do you do in 5th edition, like, I don't know, I'll pick Helm. Helm's a deity in Forgotten Realms. How do you do a Priest of Helm in 5th edition? Do they have their own spell list? Do they have? I'm sorry, that's how much of a novice I am.
Right. So 5th edition, the priest clerics, they have. I forget what it's. We'll call it a path. I forget what the technical term is.
Okay.
So there can be a path of the Tempest, which is kind of like your battle cleric, but dealing with more magic. And there's like a Path of War, which is your straight battle cleric with like more melee versus the the magic side. Then there's like a cleric of life, a cleric of flame, a cleric of the oracle, or something that kind of deals with like the augury type spells.
How many are there? Like 8? That's it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, but it's not based on the deity. It's based on the general type of deity.
Right. And so with that, like, you can technically be a priest of Helm, but look at the oracle side of it, because you're dealing with those aspects of Helm. Because they try to say, like, these gods, while they are specific to like war or something like that, they also want to kind of show the multifaceted of it. So
okay, all right. So see, what we do is, there's clerics, just base clerics, and clerics tend to be used in multi-class: fighter cleric, cleric mage thief, whatever. If you would do a specialty priest, it's really rarely a multi-class are allowed unless the specialty priest category does it. And if you ever go through the Demi-Human Deities book or the old all those old books, I make up a spell list and make up an ability list, and it's freaking takes a long time to do. We got like 30 of them, so it's all right. I was just curious, and that's why I loved 2nd edition so much. Every specialty priest is different,
right. So each of those paths, you do get your channel divinity does something different.
Right.
You get certain spells automatically. So I think there's 2 per spell level that you get. So at like 3rd level, you get an additional 2 spells that aren't on your spell list. They might be on like the Bard spell list, or
so there's a little bit of flavor
the Wizard
to it.
spell list. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so they get, or they might always have this spell known. So like the Cleric of Life always has Cure Wounds known. So they don't, when they prepare their spells the next day, they have a spell slot that they can choose to do something else with.
Okay. But it sounds like it doesn't matter what deity, for the most part, it doesn't matter what deity you worship in that.
No, there's no deity restrictions, there's no alignment restrictions, there's no race restrictions, which I think opens up to role-playing a lot more. It's kind of funny because we have a newer guy at the table, Tim, who he's a guy I work with. He's a great guy. I tried to convince him into playing D&D for a couple months. Eventually, he gave in, and he kind of we talk about like the paladin. He kind of sometimes conceptually is still, even though he's never played D&D, he thinks of a paladin has to be a lawful good guy. And like trying to wrap your head around, a paladin doesn't no longer have to be a lawful good guy. It can be a neutral good, or just a straight good, or it's more the.
It's the ethos. It's an ethos-based person. They worked on that way back in 1st edition. And it didn't work. It just didn't. But yeah, that's cool. I understand. You could be, striving toward chaotic evil and be that,
Right. Or I mean, look at like a rogue. Being a lawful good rogue, you could realistically, instead of being a thief, you could be a spy for your government or something like that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So
and that's evolved in ours too. That's really has. We've chaotic goods fine for thieves, even lawful goods good. We don't have that. There's certain level restrictions. I mean, alignment restrictions, obviously, but the subclass of the paladin, we have the Inquisitor, is lawful good, lawful neutral, lawful evil, which is perfect for an Inquisitor, right? But they got to have some law aspect to them. That's the way we do it. So yeah. There's some, and the game evolves. You got to have it evolve. You got to have it breathe, because if it's like the breathing document, the Constitution. If it doesn't breathe, it dies. Right? You got to keep up interesting things going. So, hey, reminiscing again back to. Do you miss World of Warcraft at all? Really?
Yeah, I do actually.
Okay.
Not so much. So I actually just canceled my account not too long ago, because each time at the end of each expansion, I've gone back and at least caught up on the story.
Oh, that's cool.
I'll do a couple drinking nights with Jeremy. With
awesome.
transmog runs are a lot of fun now to like go in and get your old gear. And even though I had all this old gear, I eventually scrapped it.
Right,
And
so
so, you know,
you don't have your
getting-
2.5 anymore? Oh,
oh yeah, yes I do.
you do?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yep.
It took forever. That was fun though.
But I do miss the getting together, not with the 40 people, but you know,
8
with
to
you
10.
guys. It was fun to just sit there and bullshit, run through a dungeon with 5 buddies on a work night. You know.
Well, I missed, and I put the picture up. I miss the storyline depths, all the way through BRD, doing all that pre-quest stuff, going up through the middle of the main town and getting the announcement you're coming, and all to go to get the backdrop just to get into Onyxia. And that's why I put the Onyxia picture up, because I loved that, and we had the most fun doing that, and we could bring in a lot of our lesser players into that Onyxia's lair without the, as long as they didn't pull all the whelps out. But that was fun, man.
I appreciate the level of accessibility that they added to it. Dealing with flexible size raids and that kind of stuff. That's things I think would have been really helpful for us back in the day. But
Right.
I don't miss the raiding schedule.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I can't do it
I don't
now.
miss the drama of running a boat or anything like that. But it is fun to go back every now and then and just kind of check it out.
How about
So,
this? Here's a one-line memory from the past. You sold us out for 20 pieces of silver.
That was, I had to do some good PR protection there after that one there, because
it was just crazy.
Yep.
How people just, it's the insanity of some of the players, man. I can't deal with that. Can't deal with it.
I mean, but look, all right, so I still talk to you on a regular basis. I still talk to Jeremy. Jeremy and I get together. We try at least once a month to do a drinking night, and then
Awesome. How about
we
Dave?
bullshit texting, throughout the month. I haven't talked to Dave really since he had a kid.
Right.
That's kind of, he bought a house and he had a kid. They came up and
So you
visited.
met up with him. I mean, that was great.
Yeah,
When
he lives like 3 hours away.
That's great. I mean, I remember the time you came out on the trip and you got lost in the middle of Camden coming to see us, and I was like, what are you doing driving through the middle of Camden?
Hey. We went to Philadelphia and whatnot. You guys, just seeing you guys was a plus.
Yeah, it was awesome, man. It was great.
It's not like we went out just to see you
Nah,
guys.
come on.
It was like, hey, let's go out to Philadelphia, go check out, because we're big history nerds. And I gotta say, the most annoying thing about that trip was trying to get a freaking clean picture of the Liberty Bell.
Oh, yeah, well.
Because everybody's like, oh, let me stand in front as you're taking my picture, as you're taking a picture. You dick.
But at least you went and saw it. I mean,
Okay.
I the other day was walking, there was a wedding, and I was walking, and I forget what the name of the place was, and I just walked, and I looked to my left, and there was Ben Franklin's tomb right on the corner. I'm like, cool. I'm standing right next to where Ben Franklin's buried, It's across the fence. It's right there on the corner of 4th or 5th and Chestnut. It's it's an awesome place. So
the thing I really liked when we were in Philly was like walking down the street and like seeing a plaque on what happened in this random building.
Yep. Yeah, it was. It's a great, and there's all around where I live. There's all Revolutionary War battlefield stuff going on. So I have my wall downstairs on that commemorating all the the Battle of Red Bank was not far from here. So and that was when the Hessians attacked the keep. Listen to me, D&D. The fort at Red Bank and they got slaughtered. And then there was a road that was called Hessian's Run. They changed it to Hessian's Way, but it used to be called Hessian's Run because they were all fleeing that way. So there's a lot of good old history here. But yeah, man, I wish we could do some more stuff together. Maybe one day when you're bored, and I'll have you hop in guest night on a DM session, man, or something, just to hang out. Or I know it's a Thursday night, but who knows? Maybe we'll do something like that, or we'll get some more game nights together with Jeremy or whatever. I don't know. What are you playing now? You playing anything?
We do random things. Last thing we did was Star Wars Battlefront 2.
Okay.
For Star Wars Day, they had it on sale for like $20 on the PC, and we did the dogfighting in that is freaking awesome. So,
yeah.
So that's we spent like 5 hours dogfighting and getting smashed.
Oh, cool.
So.
Excellent. Hey man, well thanks. I appreciate you hopping on in here and talking and chatting with me. There's so much we could talk about all day long about D&D. Just
Yeah, I know we didn't really focus and do anything important, but it's fun. That said, I do want to share. So if you ever have a gift that you got to get a D&D player, my buddy Tim, the one that I talked about that's newer, he got this for me for my birthday last year. What was it? My birthday, sweetheart? The book? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I couldn't remember if it was birthday or Christmas.
What was it?
So it is a copy of Dragon magazine from the year and month I was born.
Oh my gosh, I remember buying that one in a store in Berlin, New Jersey. That is awesome, man. What
so if you're
what number is that? What number is that? Is that like 50?
75.
75.
So yeah, like if you're ever looking for like a cool gift for a D&D player,
that's
I thought
great.
This was.
That is awesome, man. That's a great idea. The only problem is with all our people that Dragon wasn't around when we were born. And if I had to get a Dragon number 1, 2, or 3, or 4, well, I do have those, but I'm just saying if I had to get it for someone, I'd have to spend $300 for Dragon number 1, right?
Well, we're not all as old as you are.
I know, man. But see, look, I still have all the hair here. So
I have all the hair. It's just gray.
Yeah, that's okay, man. It's because you don't use that. You don't do that Grecian formula like Charlie Sheen did on the 2.5 Men. So
no, and look, you can order your battle mat.
That's
if you need
that. Yeah. I don't know if I have it here. All right, we'll reminisce real quick. Let me see if I have it in here. If you go, we use the Archer class out of the Dragon magazine. Where do you see this? All right. This is...
Okay.
It's not in here. All right, so we had a gentleman, his name was Dave, and I forget his last name, and he had a company called Griffin Games, and he made a figure box case, and it was in the Dragon magazine for months, and he sold it for like $75 or whatever, but I can't find it. And it's in like one of our photocopied sections, and it said Haddon Heights, New Jersey, and he would make it was custom wood built, and it was really nice, and it would hold figures. It was like, a big carry case, and I used to advertise that in Dragon. So
for some reason I thought maybe not.
And you go back and you see there's GURP stuff in there and Steve Jackson games and all sorts of weird Jaroon and all sorts of weird games in there. The thing that
surprised me was how many different
game systems
advertised it.
Oh my god, yeah. Because there wasn't anything else out then. Back then,
Chivalry and Sorcery.
Let me think. 75 is that? Let me do this in my head. That is 82.
Go up a year.
83. I was close. That was a good guess. It was a good guess. Yeah, 75 was 83. Yeah, so I was a sophomore in high school then. So I started collecting, I think the first Dragon I got when I was a kid was 53, and it had the new and improved Monk on it. That was the first one I ever bought on my own. And then, as I got older, I had to go back and get all the other ones. And then all the Dungeons, too. Because Dungeon Magazine was just, we loved that too. But I haven't gotten a Dragon or a Dungeon in ages because there's no relevance now. I wish the guys, Earth Journals and Dragon's Foot brings out some stuff. There's some good off-sites that, old school Osric, old school role-playing, OSRIC, that stuff is still out there a lot. You got to look for it, though. And
so, just so you know, Origins of that year was in Detroit, so not far from
Man. If you go back onto the Greyhawk Road Dog site, it shows all the old conventions and where they were. And there was like 3 or 4 conventions in my area at either Westchester University or Glassboro State, which is now Rowan University. There was a ton of them here, but I was too young for them, so I missed all those. It was Gen Con East, they used to call it, or PAX, not PAX East. It was something else. But there was Origins. There was Origins East, and they used to have them in Philly all the time. But it was before our time. Oh, that's a great gift. It was a great idea. Yeah.
Yep.
So, well, man, hey, nice chat with you here. I really appreciate it. I just wanted to pick your brain and see where you were going with the gaming out there. And plus, we need to get together more. We really do. You know,
Oh, yeah.
some of the funnest times I've ever had playing on a computer was back in the day, playing with the group of friends on World of Warcraft. When even though when Mr. Happy was going crazy half the time, but you know what can you do?
All right. Well, obviously I bullshit with you throughout.
Yeah.
The weeks anyway.
Hey man,
But,
we're Skyped together
I-
now. It's like Snap, a little bit, text all the time about stuff. But pick my brain if you ever, I'm around and same. I really appreciate. Keep the Bugbears and Brews thing going, man. It's awesome.
I will always do the recaps. But I don't know. I haven't done a topic in ages, and I don't know if I'll ever go back to do a topic. Maybe with the Star Wars stuff, I might get back into topics or something like that. But yeah.
Thanks, man. I'll talk to you soon. All right.
See you later, Jay.
All right. Have a good one.